Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive.
Mm,
Today we're tackling the world of securities brokers.
That's right. We're talking big money, big decisions, and we're going to break it all down for you using some awesome insights we got from RoleCatcher.
Which is,
It's this really cool career development platform, kind of like having a secret weapon for your job hunt.
love it. So first things first, for anyone who's ever wondered, what does a securities broker actually do? Is it all just like Wolf of Wall Street yelling buy and sell?
Haha, not quite. It's definitely not all champagne and yelling anymore. It's way more strategic than that. Think of it more like being a financial matchmaker.
A financial matchmaker.
Yeah, you're connecting investors with opportunities that match their goals. You're analyzing markets, figuring out risks, and then recommending investment.
Okay, so there's some serious brain power involved. It's not just about picking stocks, is it?
Oh, definitely not. You got to get into the nitty-gritty of complex financial stuff. Like, how do you even calculate the value of those things?
Right. Makes you think of that scene in The Big Short where they're dissecting those crazy mortgage-backed securities.
Exactly. That kind of analytical thinking, being able to dig into the numbers and predict trends, that's super important for this job.
So you're telling me you got to be part financial whiz, part, like, fortune teller.
Well, maybe not fortune teller.
What?
But you definitely need strong people skills too. Remember, you're dealing with people's hard-earned cash. They got to trust you.
That's true. So how does RoleCatcher address that whole people aspect of the job?
They actually emphasize it a lot. They talk about building relationships, understanding what your clients really need, and explaining all that financial jargon in a way that makes sense.
Okay, so communication is key.
Absolutely. They even use the term active listening, which I thought was really interesting.
Active listening. Isn't that like a therapy term?
You'd be surprised. Think about it. If a client is freaking out because the market is volatile, you need to really listen to their concerns, address them head on, and make them feel secure.
Makes sense. It's not just about numbers, it's about managing emotions, too. So you've got this fast-paced world of finance, high stakes, and then you need these, like, next-level people skills. That's a lot to juggle.
Yeah, and to add even more to your plate, RoleCatcher talks about how technology is changing the whole game for securities brokers.
Oh, yeah. Algorithms and all that.
Exactly. Those automated trading platforms are getting more advanced by the day. So today's brokers, they got to be tech savvy on top of everything else. They need to analyze data and use those tools effectively.
Wow, so they need to speak the language of finance and the language of tech. No wonder it's a competitive field.
Totally. And speaking of competitive, let's be real about the downsides. RoleCatcher doesn't shy away from the tough stuff.
Lay it on me.
Long hours, constant pressure to perform, and you gotta always be learning new things.
Intense. But I'm guessing those big paychecks they talk about soften the blow a little.
Oh, for sure. The earning potential is huge, especially as you gain experience and build up your client base. But it's not some get-rich-quick scheme. It takes serious work. And you gotta be comfortable with some risk.
Sounds like it's high risk, high reward, just like the markets themselves. So for those listeners who aren't scared off yet, what are the key ingredients to actually being good at this? What separates the average brokers from the superstars?
Well, RoleCatcher has a whole breakdown of skills and abilities, but if I had to pick the top three.
Okay, hit us with those top three.
All right, so number one, and we touched on this before, is active listening. And I don't just mean like nodding your head while your client's talking. You got to really get them,
Deep dive into their psyche.
well, not quite therapy, but you got to understand their financial goals, their risk tolerance, what they're hoping to achieve with their money. That builds trust, and trust equals clients for life.
That makes sense. Okay, what's number two on the hit list?
Number two is active learning. And honestly, this one's a no-brainer when you think about how fast the financial world is changing.
Yeah, it's like every time you turn around, there's some new kind of cryptocurrency or something.
Exactly. NFTs, blockchain, you name it. So a good broker can't just rest on their laurels. They need to be constantly learning, researching, staying ahead of the curve.
Sounds like you got to have a thirst for knowledge.
Big time. And that ties into skill number three, which is critical thinking.
Okay, break that one down for me.
Think about it. You're hit with a fire hose of information every single day. Market data, news, analyst opinions, all that. You got to be able to filter through all that noise, figure out what's actually important, and then make good decisions under pressure.
So it's not just about knowing the numbers, it's about like connecting the dots and seeing the bigger picture.
Exactly. You got to be part detective, part strategist, and maybe a little bit of a mind reader to figure out what the market's going to do next.
Sounds intense. So we're talking emotional intelligence, intellectual curiosity, nerves of steel. No wonder these folks get paid the big bucks. But speaking of career progression, how does one actually climb that ladder to success?
Well, RoleCatcher maps out 4 main stages: entry-level broker, junior broker, senior broker, and at the top of the mountain, executive broker.
So, like leveling up in a video game, but with higher stakes.
Pretty much. And just like a video game, the challenges get tougher, but the rewards get sweeter too.
More responsibility, more money, more problems, Rel.
That's the life. But you know what I thought was interesting? RoleCatcher emphasizes that even when you reach that executive level, the learning never stops.
Really? You'd think at that point they'd let you coast a little.
Nope. The financial world's a beast that never sleeps, my friend. New products, new regulations, new challenges popping up all the time.
So no matter how high you climb, you got to stay adaptable.
100%. Now, let's say you've got the skills. You're ready to crush it in this career.
Mm-hmm.
How does RoleCatcher help you actually land that dream job?
Yeah, because the job market can be a jungle, especially in a competitive field like this.
Tell me about it. But that's where RoleCatcher really shines. They don't just give you information, they give you tools. Like, they have amazing tips for tailoring your resume and application to beat those AI screening tools.
Oh man, those algorithms. It's like trying to outsmart a robot.
I know, right? But RoleCatcher gives you the inside scoop on what those algorithms are looking for, how to optimize your resume with the right keywords, how to present your skills in a way that makes you stand out.
So it's like having a secret weapon to navigate that digital maze.
Exactly. And once you get past the robots, they've got your back for the interviews too. They have this massive database, over 120,000 interview questions.
Whoa, 120,000. Are they serious?
Dead serious. They've got you covered for every possible question, from the basic stuff like, tell me about yourself, to super technical questions about specific financial products.
So no matter what they throw at you, you'll be ready.
You'll be so ready. And it's not just a list of questions either. They give you insights into what the interviewers are really looking for in your answers.
Like, what's the subtext?
Exactly. For example, they might ask, what inspired you to pursue this career? It's not just about listing your skills, it's about showing your passion, your motivation.
Because anyone can memorize facts, but passion, that's what really sells it.
100%. And they also highlight those behavioral questions, the ones that really test how you handle yourself. Like, how do you deal with a difficult client? Or, tell me about a time you failed.
Oh, yeah, those can be tough. Those are the ones that really make you sweat.
For sure. Because at the end of the day, this job is about dealing with people. And people can be unpredictable.
So we've talked about the skills, the challenges, the interview tips. RoleCatcher really gives you the inside track on what it takes to be a securities broker.
No doubt. It's definitely not for everyone, but for the right person, it can be an amazing career. But with all this talk about AI and algorithms, it makes you wonder, what does the future hold for securities brokers? Will they even exist in, 10 years?
That's the million-dollar question. Will we all be taking financial advice from robots someday?
Maybe. But I think there will always be a need for that human element,
Because algorithms can't really understand human emotions, right?
Exactly. Like, an algorithm can tell you a stock is undervalued, but it can't understand your personal financial goals or your risk tolerance.
Or talk you down when you're about to make a panic sell.
Exactly. Sometimes you need a human being to help you think rationally and make smart decisions.
So you're saying the future is a combo of high tech and that human touch.
That's what I'm thinking. Brokers will still be using all those AI tools to analyze data, but they'll also need to be really good at communication, building relationships, and understanding their clients on a personal level.
So those core skills we talked about, active listening, critical thinking, those will be more important than ever.
Absolutely. And being adaptable to new technology is going to be a wild ride, that's for sure.
Well, I, for one, am excited to see what the future holds. And on that note, big thanks to RoleCatcher for giving us so much to think about. Definitely check them out if you're interested in exploring this career path.
Seriously, their resources are top-notch.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on another deep dive. We'll catch you next time with a brand new topic. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and as always, keep learning.